Hello and welcome to a look at Capone for the Amiga, a game that was released by Actionware. The plot behind this title is the fact that you are an undercover cop who has infiltrated the mob. And one day you are walking down the street and suddenly a bullet whizzes past your head at an uncomfortably close distance, and diving for cover behind the car, you look over to the other side of the street and see a bunch of mobsters hanging out the windows trying to shoot you. So obviously your cover must have been blown, so you grab your rod of blasting and start shooting back. After you have defeated a certain amount of mobsters, you will see that the screen will start scrolling because you are running down the street, or actually pacing slowly down the street, defeating mobsters as you go, and then you get to a certain point, and you switch to the next part of the level. The ultimate aim is to reach the bank and defeat all the mobsters in that particular location, but that is something that is easier said than done. You may have noticed at the beginning of the video there was a control option that was somewhat unique, and I will come back to that later because I think it needs its own section, so to speak. You have to make the choice between playing a 1 or 2 player game, and then it's time to select your starting difficulty: Cadet, Rookie, or Captain. And of course, that difficulty defines how many enemies spawn on the screen, how quickly they spawn, and how aggressive they are. But it also influences whatever other obstacles may be on the screen, such as usually civilians, which you can likely imagine you don't want to shoot. I emphasized starting difficulty because irrelevant of which difficulty you start at, the game will increase in challenge over time, and eventually you will reach the captain difficulty at some point in the game. And personally, for my playtime, I felt that the difficulty increase was perhaps a bit too sharp. I don't know how long this game is because I never tried to complete it for the purpose of this video, but from one scene to another, there is a noticeable even increase in challenge level for the different screens. If you quickly look at the interface, you can see down the bottom left, there's the title of the game, just so you don't forget. And of course in the middle you have your health bar, and that will deplete when you get shot at for some odd reason. Underneath that to the left you have some gun symbols which are your lives. And once you're out of lives, it's game over. To the right of that, you have your bullet indicator, which is, of course, an indicator of how many bullets you have available. And you are reloading continuously over time, but it is actually possible to shoot so fast that you run out of bullets, which is rather unfortunate when you have enemies on the screen trying to kill you. And further to the right you have your score, and underneath that the indicator of which player is currently playing. So, nothing overly complicated about that. From a graphical point of view, you have to bear in mind this is a game from 1988, and as such, it doesn't look super spectacular, but it looks entirely functional. You can easily get a feeling of running around in the 1920s, whatever city may be, probably Chicago inspired, fighting off the mobsters, and the graphics are a bit basic, but it works. And You can easily see the difference between mobsters and not mobsters, usually because the mobsters carry machine guns. A child on a skateboard doesn't. But overall, yeah, the graphics are serviceable. What can I say? The sound effects are very enjoyable. My favorite sound effect is definitely when you miss a shot, because there's a distinct sound difference between hitting and missing. And I find all the sound effects in general very enjoyable. The music is acceptable. What can I say? It's a bit of a pling plong tune, is sort of set in that kind of musical era of the 1920s. It doesn't do anything special. It is there to set a mood or a tone, and I suppose as such it does what it needs to do. You likely noticed at the start of the video that there was a control option called light gun, and that requires a bit of explaining, because the individual behind this game apparently had lost faith in the concept of gaming because of the controls. He found it rather silly that you are controlling an airplane using cursor keys and things like that. But one day he took his son to the arcades and was inspired by a certain title. Based on the year this game was released, I can only assume that that game was Operation Wolf. It is not confirmed in any way, shape or form by the designer. But he decided to make a game featuring a light gun, and Actionware actually released a light gun in relation to this particular title. Obviously, I don't have access to that kind of hardware, and even back in the day, I didn't see the light gun at any point, because I would probably have bought it for the Amiga if I had seen it. Because of course, the Amiga, using the normal 9-pin joystick port like anything else at that time did, could easily use multiple buttons and light guns and light pens and all that kind of stuff. But those peripherals were not made, by and large, of course, because the games didn't support them, and because the games didn't support them, the hardware wasn't made to support the games that didn't support the hardware. Yeah, it made sense, trust me. So obviously I cannot tell how that would feel with light gun, but I bought a Sega Master System back in the day with a light gun, and playing something like Operation Wolf with a light gun was significantly more enjoyable, so I would assume that would be the case for this title as well. As a mouse-controlled game, this works perfectly fine, but without the excitement of using a light gun, the enjoyment possibly fizzles quite quickly. On that note, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, bye bye for now.